In a world filled with beauty, wonder, and love, the existence of evil often leaves us questioning the nature of God and His divine plan. Why does God allow evil to happen? This profound question has been a subject of contemplation and debate for centuries within Christian theology. In this article, we will explore this challenging topic from a Christian perspective, drawing insights from the Bible and offering personal encouragement to all who seek answers. To understand why there is evil in the world, we must first recognize the origin of evil. According to the Bible, evil entered the world through the disobedience of humanity. In the book of Genesis, the story of Adam and Eve's fall illustrates how the first humans chose to disobey God's command, introducing sin and evil into the world. Genesis 3:1-19. Evil is the result of human free will, the consequences of our choices. God's permissive will is the facet of God's divine plan that allows for human free will, the consequences of our choices, even when those choices lead to evil. It is not a direct endorsement of the evil actions but rather a recognition of the fact that God has granted humanity the gift of free will. In doing so, He respects our ability to make choices, both good and bad, as a fundamental part of our existence. Example: consider the biblical account of Pharaoh and the Israelites in the book of Exodus. God called upon Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, away from their oppressive slavery. However, Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, repeatedly refused to let the Israelites go, leading to a series of plagues sent by God to demonstrate His power and prompt Pharaoh's release of the Israelites. God, in His omniscience, knew that Pharaoh would harden his heart and refuse to release the Israelites. The biblical text explicitly mentions that God hardened Pharaoh's heart, Exodus 9:12, and that Pharaoh hardened his heart, Exodus 8:15. This apparent paradox illustrates the interplay between God's sovereignty and human free will. In this example, God's permissive will is evident. He allowed Pharaoh to make choices that perpetuated the suffering of the Israelites, even as God continued to work through these circumstances to fulfill His greater plan, the liberation of the Israelites and the demonstration of His power. This account highlights the complexity of God's relationship with human choices. While God could have directly intervened to change Pharaoh's heart, He chose to respect Pharaoh's free will, allowing him to exercise it, even when it resulted in evil actions. This is a powerful demonstration of how God's permissive will operates in the world. The key takeaway from this example is that God's permissive will is a reminder that we are endowed with the freedom to choose, but our choices are not beyond the scope of God's sovereign plan. In the end, God's purposes prevail, and He can use even our sinful choices for His ultimate good and redemptive plan. This balance between human free will and divine sovereignty is a central theme in Christian theology and underscores the complexity of God's interaction with the world. Though evil exists, God's greater plan is one of redemption and restoration. The Bible assures us that God is working all things for the good of those who love Him, Romans 8:28. Even in the face of evil, God's grace, mercy, and love are ever present. The ultimate demonstration of God's love and redemption is found in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who bore the weight of human sin to provide salvation, John 3:16. Through Christ, we can find forgiveness and healing, even in the presence of evil. In the midst of a world that sometimes appears overrun by evil, it is essential to find hope and encouragement in your faith. Remember that God has a purpose for your life, and He can work through you to bring light into the darkness. As the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans 12:21, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Your actions, rooted in love and guided by God's grace, can be a powerful force for good in the world. Furthermore, lean on your relationship with God through prayer, scripture reading, and fellowship with other believers. God's presence and guidance can provide strength and clarity when faced with the challenges of an imperfect world. Through your faith, you can become a beacon of hope and a source of comfort to those around you. In conclusion, the existence of evil in the world, from a Christian perspective, is the result of human free will and the consequences of our choices. God allows evil as part of His permissive will but works all things for good in His greater plan of redemption. In the face of evil, find encouragement in your faith, knowing that God's love and grace are ever present, and your actions can make a positive impact in the world. As you navigate the challenges of life, remember the words of the psalmist in Psalm 34:17-18, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them, He delivers them from all their troubles." The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Trust in God, and He will guide you through the complexities of this world, bringing light and hope even in the darkest moments.